career-wise, she didn't have like any plans, goals, and for the most part, I was fine with that. But her sister, she was like, I wish that she would find something to like do, which is fair, like 100%. And like I said earlier, her sister kind of seemed like she had things figured out for the most part. She was living well enough that she could not only move, you know, states, like, well away from her mom and all that, but she was doing well enough that she could take care of her sister, my ex. And it seemed like the only thing my ex had going for her at the time was she was just like a really pretty face. But other than that, she didn't have anything that she really wanted to do, or any plans at all. So that's where our story comes to currently. It's that it seemed like every day I was just kind of helping her sort out a problem, and it made me feel like I, for the most part, had a daughter rather than a girlfriend, which just the only difference was, you know, the relationship aspect of it. And I wasn't trying to cause any static for her family, but eventually she would ask, or before that, her mom would ask, like, do you have any plans for like marriage or any of that? She would call me fairly regularly to like kind of keep tabs on her daughter, because her daughter doesn't really call. That would be my ex, not the sister. So I would keep up with her and this, that, and the other. Her mom was like really insistent that, oh, please marry her. She seems like she's in good hands, this, that, and the other. And then my ex would then ask, like, oh, do you think that's a good idea? Should we, whatever. I was not interested in that in the slightest. Not to be rude, not to be that guy, but we weren't even together at the time. Not even for a whole year when these conversations were coming up. It was like half a year. And I told my dad about it kind of offhandedly when we were just having dinner. And he was like, are you out of your mind? And I was like, I don't have any intention to do this. It's just, that's what was brought up, and I thought that was funny, so I told you. But then you know, you took it the way you took it. My dad then asked, like, what are you gonna do? So I was like, I'm gonna entertain it, and I'm kind of just gonna make her see that, like, this isn't a very good idea to just rush into something like this. And also that would kind of clear me from responsibility of this, because she has her stuff that she really needs to work on, and every day it felt like I was like solving another issue that she had, and that was like really weighing on me, and that would kind of commit to my downward spiral where I wasn't really doing anything either. Like I would stop streaming, I stopped posting content to the YouTube, I stopped any of my hobbies because I was just mentally drained. So I was always solving something that was a little too dramatic. And I would work with her as best as I could. I'm known for being like unreasonably patient. is how people would kind of describe me. So, it would come to pass that, you know, every couple of days, I would just find something to solve. Like there was just something, and during this whole like marriage talk, I kind of just told my dad, like, I'm gonna just break it down to where like this, like I'm gonna give it a year, and that way it's not like I'm just trying to let her down. This one, I didn't want to be single, I guess, was my attitude, but if I could turn back time, like I would have just called it off. Like full stop. And I kind of just explained it to my dad, like, oh, I'll entertain it. I'm gonna give her a year, and you know, I guess that would show her, one, that it's not worth going through what she's going through. Learn a bit more about each other, this, that, and the other. And I thought that would have been appropriate. Now, there's something I'm forgetting back here. Now, for the most part, you know, things were going well, and I broke it down to my ex at the time that, like, hey, we're gonna try this out for a year. We'll be engaged for a year, why not? Whatever. So like, she kind of just prompted it, like, when are we getting married, this, and the other, and I wasn't even at that step, like, not at all. So, every day, it would continue like this, and she was basically like belted to me, but that got tiring after a while. She had ways of just like, this is gonna sound kind of rude, but it seemed like, for the most part, everything that she was doing was just to make her seem like of use to me, which, like, it's not something I need. That makes sense. Like, I remember going to the store. This would have been like mid-2022. I remember going to the store. Needed stuff at the house, and my dad wanted me to pick up some things. And, while I was at the store, she, like, took it upon herself to, like, clean up my room, which is already kind of a problem. Because I'm one of those people that, like, I will stop what I'm doing to, like, clean up my area. Like, I don't like having, like, especially your living space to be, like, dirty, like your room and stuff. But she would take it upon herself to, like, clean, which is a kind gesture. And I appreciated that, and I let her know, like, hey, I appreciate that, but it's very unnecessary. Especially because of what had happened. So, I was at the store, I come back, and I'm getting on my computer, and I notice, like, one of my monitors is cracked. And I was like, oh, that's not good, because they don't sell this monitor anymore. And that was like my good monitor. It's a 240 hertz monitor, curved, 4K. or sorry, 2K rather. And I was like, yeah, they don't make that anymore, but more purposeful. How did this even happen? And she would pipe up to go like, oh, I was trying to clean. I think it's not a good sign, but I think when I had moved, when I had moved the monitor, I think it like fell. So I was like, all right. It was like literally my reaction. Like I didn't yell. I wasn't. She thought I'd be like super upset. I was upset that she didn't like say anything immediately. Like she must think that the monitor is like a suggestion. But it was just one of those. And she was always doing stuff like this where she was just doing things not because they were like oh god, I did it again. Not because it was like the right thing to do or whatever. It's just like she felt like she needed to do something to make herself seem like she was of use to me. And after the monitor breaking issue of 2022, how many times? After the monitor breaking issue of 2022, I just decided, all right, we need to fix this. So I would help her kind of find out like what she would want to do, like career-wise. And like I really like sat down with her and we talked, and I was like, listen, I will do everything in my power to make sure you get hired. Whatever we got to do, I will make that happen. So you tell me what you want to do, and we'll work on that. And I would help her get a resume set up and show off her credentials as far as stuff that she was doing beforehand. She had worked retail before she had moved to Vegas. So I was like, all right, well, let's get that on there. What school did you go to? Because that's all we really can put on here. And what clubs, what activities were you doing? That's no shot you weren't in a club, so what were you doing? And whoops. In the grand scheme of things, things were going well, and eventually she would get hired as a fitness trainer with like minimal experience, which is crazy. But I mean, she was fit. She liked working out. She liked just being active. So like worked out. She got trained, and things were going well. And her first check came around, and she was like really excited about it. So she had like went out, got me a gift. She was like excited that like, oh, I finally worked. And it took it was like a relief off of me. It was like, oh, at least she's doing something. And my downward spiral was still like in full swing. So it's like I'm like mentally I'm trying to be there, but I'm just like I'm not kind of deal. And it was kind of taking a toll on me because I wasn't doing anything. Like I would work, find out what trouble she was getting into. If there was something to solve, I would solve it. If she just wanted somebody's ear, I would give it. And that's basically how it would go. If I was hanging out, like on Destiny, for instance, it would be like towards the later parts of the night, but I couldn't do that. She was like practically living with me in a matter of like a few months. God, I can't see. And it was like this for, okay. It was like this for, a few months, where I was kind of just going through the motions like this. And, it was just exhausting for me. So my dad was like, you guys are really getting close to this whole year-end mark, aren't you? It's like, yeah. It's not like I was just like trying to get rid of her or whatever. It's just, I think that she needed to kind of sort her stuff out. And anytime somebody would ask like, oh, how's she doing? It was always just like, yeah, she's doing all right, and finally found work, and she's generally happy about that. Things would kind of come to it where we were closing that mark, and I was like, alright, this has kind of gone on long enough. My dad doesn't approve of this, and my mental is like at an all-time low. Because to bring this back from earlier, I felt like I really shouldn't be doing this. Like with the girl at the coffee shop, I kind of just felt like like for some reason this feels wrong. My heart still belongs to girl number one in a way, even though she doesn't deserve it. And somehow that like kind of affected me too, because it's like, did I move on too quickly, or what's going on here, and things like that. Like I said, the earlier relationship kind of ended on like a cliffhanger, and that was one of the strikes that I had given myself out of 3. Of like, yeah, I need to kind of call this off. 2. She's able to take care of herself now, which I kind of felt responsible for. Like, I felt like I was helping her. She like didn't have any direction, and I had finally given her that. So that was strike 2. Strike 3, more or less, was just that my dad didn't approve And I can understand where he's coming from. Like, you guys are moving at like Mach 8. And what made matters worse is that her mom was like really propping this up rather. Like, oh yeah, no, you guys should definitely do this. I'll definitely pay for it. It's like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. And I agreed with my dad, like, fully, like, no, I'm just entertaining it. And I hope that during this little year-end stint that she will realize, like, like, no, you shouldn't go through with this, kind of focus on building your career. Towards, like, the start, we were, like, well into, like, 2023 at this point, but say it was like June. It's like early June where you'd kind of just have like the talk and I kind of just broke it down like, yeah, I think this is where we kind of draw the line. And she said her piece, I said mine, whatever. There was nothing rude. I just want to preface, like, everything was, like, amiable between us. I kind of just told her, like, my mental has, like, been really drained from this, like, thing, and I don't want you to think that you know, that the time between us was, like, wasted or anything. But I kind of need to, like, refocus on myself, and there's still things that I kind of want to, like, do, and yada yada yada. So that was that. So I thought. Her mom would call me towards like the tail end of 2023, and I was coming home from work, and I would receive a number from someone that was in Ohio. It's the area code. And I thought I recognized it, but then I picked it up, and it was her mom, and her mom had some very choice words for me, which, I mean, yeah, sure. But had, like, very choice words, like, oh, you let my daughter on, this, that, and the other. It's like, that wasn't my intent, but I just kind of, I wanted her to, like, realize, like, hey, like, what you're doing right now is going to have very life-altering effects for you, and you haven't really considered, like, any other alternative. It was just kind of like, no, I need to do this for whatever reason. She never really gave me a reasoning behind, like, why she was, you know, wanting to be engaged, other than she kind of just wanted to prove to her mom that she was, you know, okay and well off. So, yeah, I dealt with that, and that also didn't help with my mental. Like, even after the relationship ending, it was kind of just like, I was still drained. I felt like I was doing things like I really shouldn't have, and this, that, and the other. So I took a break from like a lot of things, and I kind of just felt like going incognito for a bit. Not to be like grim or anything, not like that, but just like I needed to kind of just be a ghost, like work on myself. And what that means basically is like focus on building myself up, like physically, like mentally again. That's why I'm here now. So I felt it like very taxing that I was just constantly doing something for my ex, and it felt like things weren't like changing for the better. So for the most part, I doing like a lot better nowadays. Well into 2024, and I kind of just decided like overall I think I'm just gonna stay single for like the foreseeable future, because I don't want to get into another situation where like I feel like I'm doing something wrong, and I guess until I get over that hurdle, I kind of don't need to be with anybody right now. That's kind of where the headspace is at, but I think sticking to that at least has made me a lot more like appreciative of these sort of times, and I don't feel like so drained these days. But that's the story. And I hope I've explained this well enough. It was hard to kind of tell that and then be genuine, but then also do this. I'm not much of a... I narrate, but I'm not much of a storyteller myself. I guess that's not true. I think in a way you do have to be a storyteller if you narrate. Rather, you have to be good at it. And I am not. Fun fact. I hope within that rambling, with some sense the madness. I felt like I needed to get that off my chest, because a lot of the people in my Discord were wondering like, hey, why did that even end? I'm an open book more or less if people like ask, but I was always given like the cold shoulder for this particular thing for no real reason. One, because I didn't know like how I was to explain like, yeah, I'm just gonna randomly marry this woman. It's something that I didn't want to do. I knew there was somebody over here. Oh, that is sick. That is absolutely sick. Good thing we were overcharged. I don't know where this last guy is. I see he's behind this door. Yeah.